I want to personally apologize for any of the complications or hardships that schedule caused anybody that was on our website. Our original schedule was exactly what you saw today. Original schedule. We tried to get it corrected. We got it corrected, but some people downloaded it, printed it, and used that schedule. And I apologize for that personally, for that happening. I'm so sorry that some of you came yesterday because it looked like it started yesterday, but we felt terrible for you that came in early, but we hope it's all downhill from here. Downhill from here. Come on up, Hank. I don't want you to go too far anyway. I got something for you.
Most of you know John and Kathy Proud that have been coming to Endice for quite some time. And you know, Kathy was in the chair when it bent over. Well, they came here yesterday and she is getting much worse. She has so much equipment that they couldn't even fit it in the room. So they had to leave. And so keep Kathy and John in your prayers as well. And I failed to mention that. Thank you.
Just a word on that. When we were at Drury yesterday evening, John came out to the front desk and said, I can't stay. He said, I thought I could do one more conference with my wife. And he said, we can't. She needs to go home. So we asked the guy at the desk, can I have a refund? And the guy looked up his number, his room number, and he said, we bought that through a third party. I can't do that. He said, but if you go to your third party, maybe they'll give you a refund. So I handed the man my card. And I said, when you get done with all your refunds, whatever you don't get, please let me know personally, and I'll help you. I felt terrible. He felt terrible. He went to start packing his things. My wife and I went to the room, and we came down to go across the street to get something to eat. And the guy from the hotel was coming down the hall. And he saw me, and he goes, where's that gentleman that wanted a refund? And I said, he's in room 132. He said, well, I made a mistake. I'm going to give him a full refund. I said, you need to tell that gentleman that. So I took him down to the room, knocked on the door. John opened it. I said, tell John what you just said to us. He goes, sir, I made a mistake. He said, I'm going to give you a full refund. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Yeah, the Drury too, I think. The Drury, if you know, and Drury is a nice Catholic family in St. John, Missouri. So they're very, I don't think he called Kathy or the Drury CEO, but I think maybe somebody tapped him on the shoulder and said, think twice about that. So last year at the end of our conference, the gentleman walks out on the way after the closing mass and said, I want to give a donation to Endice. I said, okay, thank you. And he said, I'll get back to you. A couple weeks went by and he got a hold of me. He said, I want to make a donation to Endice. He said, some very good things happened to me while we were at the conference. We want to share them. I said, okay. He said, I want to write you a check, Endice, a check for $15,000. $15,000. He sent us the check. It was a joke because every year when we talk about our treasury report at our annual meeting, we don't have any money to invest. It's just whatever's in the savings account and the checking account. And we always report like 70 cents. 70 cents was our interest. That changed last year. We invested that $15,000 in a CD. You'll hear Wednesday what we made on that, but we still have that $15,000 plus some more. So he wanted the family, they're here. They're in this room with you right now. They wanted to remain anonymous, which I respect. But know that somebody with a great big heart last year decided to help Endice put a little cushion so we can continue to stay solvent and do the things we love to do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, that couple. You know who you are. Thank you. These conferences started in 1976. It wasn't called Endice. 75? Okay, 75. It wasn't called Endice. It was started in Collegeville, Minnesota. Then it went to Notre Dame. And 3 years at Collegeville. And 2? Okay. Collegeville, Notre Dame, Xavier, okay? We know we were Xavier for 20 years. There's a gentleman in the room tonight that's been at 45 of those conferences. 45 since 1979. Since 1979, this gentleman's been at every conference. He's our executive secretary. He keeps this ship rolling. That's the brilliance in keeping somebody that's been in all of these conferences, keep things going. Hank Babin, please come up here. Please accept this, Deacon Hank, in recognition of 45 years of membership and dedicated service to NDICE, 1979 to 2024. Thank you. Also, 45 years and Boudreaux.
And he's got Boudreaux spelled right, too. Yeah, I want to say that the very first conference we went to was at Notre Dame. It was in '79. The conference was based on ministering to the family. Our presenters were Jim and Evelyn Whitehead, who wrote the book Christian Life Patterns, and we had Father Gaudy Myers, who was a priest psychologist. It was a wonderful conference. I still remember things that happened there. I'll never forget. We had different prayer. We had, of course, regular prayer, and we had charismatic prayer. And I'll never forget the guy's name that came in to do the prayer at ours was the guy that was supposed to do the charismatic prayer. And we just sat there. He said, "Oops, I'm in the wrong place." I said, "Yeah, you sure are." But it was a wonderful conference. And I really dedicated myself to NDICE at that time because I just felt so strongly that it was a very, very viable way to get our continuing formation done. I was treasurer. When I took over as treasurer, we had $615 in the treasury. Now, I got to say, at that time, Notre Dame did all the legwork. They got the speakers and all and so forth. So we got a check in November for maybe about $10,000 for the conference, but they did all the legwork. So that wasn't too bad. But then we decided that no, we would change and do it ourselves. It wasn't about until I think about 1982 or 3 that we got the name NDICE. We came up with the name NDICE and the acronym NDICE for National Diaconate Continuing Ed Institution. But so that's where we are. I've got the list of the topics of every NDICE so far, so we can peruse that list and come up with some very good themes for NDICE conferences in the future. So anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, I've been treasurer, vice president, and president. And the year I was president was 1996, and guess what they had that time? The National Deacon Conference in Baltimore.
Thank you, Hank. As Hank said, we're kind of struggling. We have just like at 109 this year. We had 132 last year. At Xavier, it kind of floated between 200, 220, 240. One time it was close to 300. Matthew Kelly was a big draw for us. We had 400. We're trying to decide is which way should we go. We'll discuss this at our meeting on Wednesday. I was in contact with Xavier in the last several weeks, 2 months, talking to them. They just decided now to start conferences again in 2025. They haven't done any since COVID started. They laid off all of those people that put those conferences on for them internally. They started hiring them back, but they're starting from ground zero. I asked them to build something for us that's at least some numbers together so we have something to make a decision. Do we want to go there in the future? We really think that some people, not you obviously, but some people think that this is a parish level conference because we're at a parish. We're here because we had nowhere else to go. It was COVID. This is a great facility, church, meeting room. If we need to use the gym, we can for a bigger crowd. Hotels are closed. The first year we had it, we took a vote at the business meeting. We want to come here next year. They said, yeah, we'll come back. Last year they took a vote. We want to come back for 2 more years. So this is number 1 of the 2. Next year is 2 if we decide to do that. But we need to decide, do we want to try to go back to the college level and try to draw more people, or continue to get just good speakers and come here? Because we could go up to art. How can we go in the gym if we have it over in the gym? We don't think we'll get that big. We'll be stuffed in there like sardines. But if we could get back to 200, 250, 225, that's a good number. I think we could handle that crowd. But it's up to us where we want to do this at. Of course, when we go to university level, you start paying for labor. Here, all of the labor is free. It's all donated by our wives. Tomorrow, you'll have a team of 5 people from this parish. They're going to come in and do the hospitality work. A lot of us, my class, the ones before me and all of them behind me, are all farmed through St. Meinrad, Indiana, through the Benedictines. And what we learned is one of the rules of Benedict is hospitality. Hospitality. And I hope you feel that. Last year, we had one of the best rated conferences ever in Endice, even though it was small. The ratings came back fantastic. We're trying to do that again. We had some hurdles to break. We're working on it. But we want you to feel comfortable. You shouldn't want for anything. You're probably hungry right now and tired of listening to me talk. We know you're hungry. Our plan originally was to have the bishop come in here and give this talk. It would have took a little bit longer. We would have had some more time. But he had to change that because of his schedule. He's a busy, busy man. So think about it, pray about it. What's the right way for Endice to go in the next years? Should we stay here? Should we go somewhere else? Xavier isn't the only place. There's you might have some ideas of a place that we could have a conference. We had a discussion amongst us last night where the Augustine Institute is moving to St. Louis, right across the river. Boeing has a huge facility over there. It was their executive facility where they do training and team building. They're going to build that into a seminary and have housing. Maybe we could baptize that place with deacons having a first conference there, but that's an option. We don't know the numbers, even if they wouldn't even give us a cost at this point. But we had other ideas and places we could go, but we got to start from scratch. So we'll share the numbers with you Wednesday of what Xavier offered to us. It was scary at first, but then we had to break out things that were separate from what we're doing here. So after we broke those numbers out, it's not that scary, but it means going over and all of the labor that's free here, over there, you're going to pay for that labor because they third party a lot of their stuff. All of their food and all that's third party. The Xavier doesn't do anything other than they give you the rooms and hire people to do the other things for you. Think about it, pray about it. Let's see what the best route for Endice is to take in the future. I have nothing else to say. I'm not going to stand here and bore you people, so